Welcome, and I'm going to talk some football. So I get asked a lot about, well, why the Chargers? Okay, well, with the Chargers, when I came into watching football, which was 1982, which if you follow my hockey channel, I came into watching hockey 1981. Football was 1982 when I really got into it. That was the Redskins, Dolphins, Super Bowl. I was cheering for the Dolphins because I always cheer for the underdog. But 1982 was my first year watching the NFL. And Dan Fouts was the quarterback for the Chargers. And I don't know, I like the Chargers name, I like their jerseys, I like the overall look of the team, and Fouts was a good quarterback. So they reached the playoffs in 1982. So yeah, bandwagon. Not a very big bandwagon right now for the Chargers. It doesn't matter whether they're in San Diego or LA or Timbuktu. There's not a very big bandwagon when it comes to the Chargers. And there never really has been. Now, I put quarterbacks of note on the board. There are some quarterbacks who started for them outside of the guys on the board that really aren't of note. From 79 through 87, it was Dan Fouts. So Fouts was, and he's a Hall of Famer, and he was fantastic, and just great quarterback. Jim McMahon was their starter in 1989. McMahon, you know, it's funny, he wins a Super Bowl with Chicago, but if you asked anybody who the best quarterbacks were that won Super Bowls, you're not going to have McMahon in the top 10. And I'm being as nice as possible there. I remember there were times where it was like, oh, the Bears have this great game despite McMahon. It kind of felt like that was the argument. Billy Joe Tolliver was then the starter in 1990. I liked Billy Joe Tolliver. I don't know. And then he was gone. John Freeze takes over in 1991, and then Stan Humphries takes over in 92. And at this point, I'm just expecting to go through quarterbacks all the time. But Stan Humphries turned out to be an excellent quarterback. He was the quarterback right through till 1997. So when they went to the Super Bowl in 1995, and that was after a very strong 94 season, they lost the Super Bowl 49-26 to the San Francisco 49ers. What drove me insane about that Super Bowl was it was much closer, I felt, than the score indicated. There were some really bad ideas made by San Diego that led to that score being really lopsided. And there were some opportunities there that I thought, San Diego has a chance. Oh, they blew it. And so that was where, you know, if we're going to talk about heartbreak as a football fan, it came during the Humphreys era. But then that ends and they bring in Ryan Leaf. (1998 and 2000). That moment of silence was brought to you by the career of Ryan Leaf. And Jim Harbaugh, 99 and 2000 was in there as well. I like Jim Harbaugh. He was a half-decent quarterback. But it was like, okay, so when somebody's done in Chicago, we'll take him, I guess. Then Doug Flutie comes in from 2001 to 2003. And Flutie was good. Not only that, but he helped to mentor a young Drew Brees who was coming in, who would be the quarterback from 2002 till 2005. And that was when the San Diego Chargers decided, okay, we've got two quarterbacks in Brees and Phillip Rivers. They believed in Rivers more than Brees, so Brees gets shipped out and Rivers became the starter. I was not a fan, as I loved Drew Brees. He was my favorite quarterback to play for the Chargers. Still to this day, my favorite Chargers quarterback, even though Rivers would be a close second. 2006 to 2019, Rivers is the starter, and he went through some great seasons and poor seasons as a team as well. So going into this season, and the reason for this video is that, you know, I've seen a lot of quarterbacks come and go, and some of them come in with a lot of hoopla around them. Drew Brees didn't really, but he generated that when he was quarterback. He generated that excitement. Remember when Flutie came in? I was kind of like, okay, I was curious about how Flutie would play because he's been excellent in the CFL as well. And he was a good quarterback, but he mentors Brees, and then Brees leaves town. So coming into this season, Tyrod Taylor brought in with the idea that he's going to be the starter until Justin Herbert was going to be ready. Now today, Justin Herbert ended up playing and threw for over 300 yards against the Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions. And for a while, they got me again. The Chargers got me today. I thought they could win this game, and they end up losing it in overtime. Because it's football, there's no loser point, and I much prefer not having a loser point. So, you know, this was a good, gutsy performance. Herbert made some mistakes. There was the fake. If you're going to fake a handoff, make sure you're faking it in the direction that your running back is running. and not faking it away from your running back. They're not going to bite on the fake. But just little things like that you'll see a rookie quarterback do. But, you know, I'm already in this spot where I look at some of these quarterbacks. Drew Brees is going to be a Hall of Famer. I think Rivers ends up being a Hall of Famer as well. And so this is pretty big in terms of pressure for Herbert coming in as a quarterback, because while the Chargers have had an interesting history overall, their quarterbacks have been pretty darn good. And it's one of the reasons why I've always been a big fan of the team, other than, you know, Natrone Means being one of them, Junior Seau being another. There have been some really, really awesome guys that have played for the Chargers over the years. You could just look at Seau's eyes and be like, okay, you don't want to get hit by that guy. But in and amongst all of this, the playoffs, 82, 92, 94, 95, 2004, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2013, and 2018. Lots of playoffs. Never a championship. And this is why back in 2018 when I talked about the Chiefs and the Chargers, and I said, well, they're not going to win it. People were like, oh, they can knock off New England. I'm like, no, they can't, and they didn't. But today, watching this game, and as I'm getting this board ready, the CBS announcers were flat out cheering for the Chiefs. And if you watch this game, let me know in the comment section below if you heard it. They were flat out cheering for the Chiefs. I was floored. I get it. They're Super Bowl champions, and Patrick Mahomes might be the best quarterback, might be the best player in football. But I shouldn't be watching a nationwide broadcast and going, boy, howdy, are these guys ever cheering for one team? And they seemed really surprised by Herbert when he made passes, and really surprised when the Chargers got a good play. And then when there would be one in favor of the Chiefs, they're like, yeah, there you go. And you could hear them like, oh, look out behind you kind of thing. And it's like, no, this isn't how this is supposed to work. So, yeah, I found that really off-putting. And again, you guys can let me know if you heard it too. So I don't want to sound like I'm just complaining alone. I want to know if other Chargers fans watched that today and said, wow, or just fans in general watched this and went, yeah, no, the announcers were basically cheering for the Chiefs. To the point where, you know, when it's a 58-yard attempt, like, yeah, no, this is done. No, I'm pretty sure this is done. Yeah, it's done. And I'm like, okay, you guys sound like you want Kansas City to win. I understand, you know, 58-yarder being, you know, equal to the team's all-time record in field goal. That's great. Good for Butker. But seriously, you guys should at least pretend you have some sort of semblance of middle of the road on this. So while I'm listening to this and watching the game, and the game I'm watching is different from the way the announcers are calling it, I saw it as a San Diego team / LA team. I still think of them as San Diego. I know a lot of people do. The LA Chargers today were the better team for certain parts of the game, but once the Chiefs turned it on, I don't think the Chargers had what it took to fight back and to stay in this. But Herbert to me is a starter already. I am perfectly fine as a Chargers fan with this team going 4-12 this year. Give Herbert the starts. Tyrod Taylor's hurt. He's probably not playing next week either, I would think. And so give Herbert the start. Go through some pain this year. Win a few games here and there if you can. But if you can't, that's fine too. I think it's Herbert's team. So, and the interesting thing is, when we get into quarterbacks for this team, it was going to be Eli Manning back in 2004. Let's go all the way back to Eli Manning. 2004, they're going to draft him first. Manning's like, that's nice. I'm not playing for the Chargers. So they traded him to the Giants, and Rivers was coming back the other way because Marty Schottenheimer believed in Rivers. So very interesting in that, because if that trade doesn't get made, I like Eli Manning. I think he could very well be a Hall of Famer. I don't know if Eli Manning had played for the Chargers with the team that they had put together, if he would have had the kind of success he did playing for the Giants with the team they put together. And if Rivers had stayed with the Giants, who knows what might have happened for New York. Number 2 draft pick in 1998 was Ryan Leaf. That didn't turn out so well. And it was right out of the gate. You could tell Ryan Leaf was just not it. And this is where Justin Herbert's interesting, because he already looks pretty darn good. He was drafted 6th overall this year, of course. 2001, Drew Brees was drafted 32nd overall. So, 2nd round draft pick for the Chargers. Pretty good pick. And 1989, drafted 51st overall, was Billy Joe Tolliver, one of the best names in football. If he didn't play football, I'm 99% sure that Billy Joe Tolliver would have been a NASCAR driver. Because with the name Billy Joe Tolliver, you have to be. Now, 2006, this team went 14-2. That's under Rivers, his first year. 2009, also with Rivers, they went 13-3. In 2000, they had their worst year, which was a 1-15 season, and that's with Ryan Leaf and Jim Harbaugh. Again, I liked Harbaugh, just that was a mess. That was a disaster. The year that they drafted Ryan Leaf, they went 5-11. So, the reason for this is simple. Justin Herbert, damn you, you have given me hope for the Chargers for the future. You have given me hope that maybe with the right amount of coaching and the right amount of development, that maybe you're going to be the Super Bowl quarterback that the team has finally needed. That guy finally, maybe with the right team around him, maybe. Their defensive line looked good today against the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs are a little bit better than the Bengals, so, you know, the fact that they took the Chiefs to overtime, I think bodes well for this team going forward. They're 1-1. In the postseason all-time, they're 12-18. So their all-time record in the postseason shows you that this is not a team that traditionally does well in the postseason. I think now, with Herbert, who's just through his first game, who knows? Maybe this is it. All-time regular season, 452 wins, 453 losses, and 11 ties. Mediocre. They're mediocre in the postseason, mediocre in the regular season, and as a Chiefs fan, I've got that stuck in my head because I'm listening to these announcers flat out, go Chiefs, go! Go Chiefs, go! As a Chargers fan since '82, I'm kind of used to the mediocrity, and it feels like regular season, whether they're great or they're poor, in the end it always ends up exactly the same. 1995 was the one year where I thought maybe, just maybe. Nope. And as a Bengals fan, of course, I had one year where I thought maybe, and then no, didn't happen. But I have more hope when it comes to the Chargers right now than I do with the Bengals. I understand Jim Burrow is going to be a great quarterback. I understand that. And that maybe the Bengals can get things. But it feels to me like of the two franchises, the Chargers have a better plan. They have a better track record for being able to get into the playoffs and put together a pretty solid roster around a good quarterback. The Bengals have their struggles. So we'll see. Let me know what you guys think. And for Chargers fans, how do you feel about this season and beyond? So again, I'm not looking for playoffs this year. I don't care. I want to see though the right moves made to surround a brand new quarterback, a young quarterback that you see as being the future. Surround them with players that can help them get there. How many years do you think it's going to be before the Chargers get back to it, or are they not going to? Do you see them as mismanaged and maybe they don't get back? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And yes, this is the first Sunday that I've actually, watched the football. I've got the power rankings board just outside of this, and I'm trying to figure it all out. The power rankings will be returning to this channel. I'm going to say after week 4. I want to wait till week 4, and then we've got a really good idea. Again, without a preseason, without some semblance of normalcy, I don't know which teams are going to do really well. There are some 0-2s I'm surprised by. There are some 2-0s I'm surprised by. And I think by week 4 we'll have a better idea. Maybe the Chargers. Maybe they can be 2-2 after week 4, and maybe they'll be in a position where they can look at maybe a wild card. Who knows? Again, let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon. Thank you guys so much for all your support.